She told him she needed the gym membership to look perfect for their wedding. He paid for it, but what she really bought with his money was betrayal, one massage at a time. I've been driving trucks for more years than I can remember, and every month on these highways, I'm reminded that my older colleagues were right about one thing. If you want to grow up fast mentally and emotionally, you picked the perfect profession. The road and everything connected to it will teach you about life faster than any college degree ever could. This story happened just a few days ago, and it's proof that sometimes the most devastating truths come from the most innocent discoveries. I was driving from my small hometown to a major metropolitan area about 500 miles ahead of me. This time I was traveling solo, which meant no one to talk to, no one to share a smoke break with. The CB radio only works in certain areas, and radio reception is spotty at best on these long stretches. The weather was doing that annoying thing where it can't decide what season it wants to be. Snow on the ground, but temperatures jumping between freezing and thawing, creating this slushy mess on the highway that makes driving a nightmare. I was pushing through this slush when I spotted him, a young guy, standing on the shoulder with a large duffel bag. Something about his posture told me he wasn't just waiting for a bus. This was someone who needed help. I started slowing down. He jogged about 30 yards to catch up with my cab, and I opened the passenger door. "Where are you headed?" I asked. He named the same major city I was passing through. Polite guy, well-dressed, articulate. He offered to pay fair rate for the ride and seemed genuine about it. I looked him over: clean clothes, decent haircut, spoke like someone with education. "Climb in," I told him. He hauled his duffel bag behind the passenger seat and kept a small briefcase on his lap. When he opened it to grab something, I could see a laptop inside. Professional equipment. His name was Jake, 28 years old, worked in web design and digital marketing. Local guy, born and raised about 50 miles from where I picked him up. We talked about his work as the miles rolled by. Interesting stuff, actually. The kind of job that lets you work from anywhere as long as you've got internet. We'd covered maybe 200 miles when cell service kicked in again. That's when I noticed something odd, the kind of detail that would later blow this whole story wide open. Jake started making phone calls, but here's what caught my attention. Every single call began the same way. "Hey, it's Jake. You know, Jake Matthews from downtown? Remember, we worked on that project together." Then he'd hang up and dial another number. "Hi, this is Jake." "Yeah, Jake Matthews, the web designer. We met at that conference." 4 or 5 calls, all with the same routine. Always introducing himself like the person on the other end had no idea who he was. When the cell service dropped out again, curiosity got the better of me. "What's with the phone? Nobody recognizing your voice today?" He laughed, but there was something hollow about it. "Oh, I changed my number. New SIM card, new number. Fresh start, you know?" Fresh start. That phrase hung in the air between us like smoke from a cigarette. We had another 200 miles together, so I figured I'd ask. "Fresh start from what?" He sighed, the kind of deep breath people take before they tell you something they've been carrying around for weeks. "I got married without getting married, if that makes sense. And then I got divorced without ever having a wedding." Now that's the kind of sentence that demands explanation. I stayed quiet, letting him work up to whatever he needed to say. Sometimes people just need someone to listen, and truck drivers end up being unofficial therapists for half the country. What he told me next was a masterclass in how people can lie to themselves and each other until reality comes crashing down like a freight train. I met this girl, Sarah, about 3 years ago. I was 25, she was 23, just finishing up her degree at the state university. We started spending more and more time together, and eventually we began talking about making it official. Jake had been working in his field since college and had managed to save up enough money for a down payment on a one-bedroom condo. Not much, but it was theirs. He went into some debt to make it happen, but Sarah moved in with him, and they started building what looked like a life together. After about a year, I'd paid down most of the debt from buying the place, and we started talking seriously about getting married. But I wanted to wait a little longer, save up some more money so we could have a proper honeymoon, maybe travel to Europe. I didn't want us to start married life scraping by financially. That's when things started changing. Sarah's attitude shifted completely. The wedding conversation went from exciting future plans to constant arguments about timing and priorities. And here's the kicker. Her job was barely bringing in any income. Jake was supporting both of them on his web design salary. Then my company shifted everyone to remote work permanently. At first, I thought it would be great. Work from home, spend more time with Sarah, save money on commuting. But working from home meant Jake could see Sarah's daily schedule in a way he never had before. When she left for work, when she came home, how she spent her evenings. And apparently, his constant presence in their apartment was making Sarah nervous. Business slowed down a little, so I had to cut back on our spending. Nothing dramatic, just tightening the belt while we saved for the wedding. Sarah did not take this news well. That's when the late nights started. She began staying after work a couple times a week. Just an hour or two at first, but when I asked about it, she got defensive. Really defensive. Like I was accusing her of something just for asking why she was getting home at 9 instead of 6. The atmosphere in their relationship became toxic. Arguments about money, about the wedding timeline, about Jake's questions regarding her whereabouts. Then one day, Sarah's mood completely flipped. She came home happy for the first time in weeks. Made dinner, was affectionate, actually seemed like the woman I'd fallen in love with. Then, later that evening, she hit me with this request. Sarah wanted money for a gym membership and massage therapy. There was a fitness center near their place running a promotion, and she pitched it as an investment in her health and appearance for their future wedding. She said, "Don't you want your future wife to be the most beautiful woman in the world? How do you say no to that?" So Jake gave her money for a 3-month membership. Sarah started going to this fitness center every evening, staying for 2 or 3 hours at a time. She'd come home exhausted, sometimes with bruises on her arms or legs. I'd ask her to be more careful, maybe get a trainer to help with proper form. She'd just say she was fine, that she was pushing herself hard, said the bruises weren't from the workouts, they were from the massage therapy afterward. According to Sarah, this fitness center had some of the best massage therapists in the city. Deep tissue work that left marks but was incredibly effective for muscle recovery and stress relief. Meanwhile, their intimate life deteriorated even further. Sarah was always too tired from her workouts, too sore from the massages, too stressed about something else. The complaints about money started up again. More snide comments about the wedding timeline. It was like living with a completely different person. Then Jake's back, started acting up from too many hours hunched over his computer. His doctor couldn't see him for over a week, so Jake decided to get a massage while he waited for his appointment. Naturally, he thought he'd try the place Sarah had been raving about. I walked into that fitness center, and the receptionist looked at me like I'd asked for a unicorn. "Massage therapy? Sir, we don't offer massage services. We never have. We've got weights, cardio equipment, group fitness classes, but no massage therapists." Jake sat in his truck cab for a moment, staring out at the highway. That's when I knew. 3 months of lies. 3 months of her coming home with stories about her amazing massage therapist. 3 months of me paying for services that didn't exist. He confronted Sarah that evening. Didn't accuse her of anything specific, just asked about the massage therapy situation. She looked me right in the eye and confirmed that, yes, she was still getting massages at the gym, said they were helping tremendously with her stress levels. So Jake told her what he'd learned, that no massage services existed at that facility and never had. Within 24 hours, she was gone. Didn't come home that night. Just called me and said we needed space to think about our relationship. 2 weeks apart, she said. Time to figure things out. But Jake wasn't a computer programmer for nothing. He could read the lines of code, and he could certainly read between the lines of this situation. I called her the next day. She claimed she'd gone on vacation with her girlfriend, some kind of group trip. 2 women and 2 men, she said. The men were sponsoring the vacation, and she and her friend were just along for the ride. Jake paused, lit a cigarette, and shook his head. I told her to make sure those sponsors were more careful about leaving bruises during their massage sessions. That was the last conversation we ever had. But here's where Jake's story becomes a lesson in how to handle betrayal with dignity and strategic thinking. You know what they say about hitting rock bottom. Sometimes you need to fall that far before you can launch yourself upward. I'd been talking about moving to a bigger city for years, and that night I realized there was nothing holding me back anymore. The next morning, Jake listed his condo for sale. He wrote up a power of attorney for his parents in case he decided not to come back and handle the sale remotely. Then he packed everything that mattered into 2 bags and started making plans to relocate permanently. The worst part was dealing with her stuff. She was still on vacation when I needed to clear her belongings out for potential buyers to see the place. I had to pack up all her clothes and personal items and drive them to her parents' house. Jake described the awkward conversation with Sarah's parents, trying to explain why their daughter's things were being returned without revealing the full scope of what had happened. I just told them their daughter would explain everything when she got back from her trip, but I hinted that there was another man involved. Let them draw their own conclusions. The genius of Jake's response wasn't revenge, it was complete removal of himself from the situation. She's probably back from her vacation by now. All her stuff is at her parents' place, the condo is sold, my phone number is disconnected, and I'm 500 miles away starting over in a new city. Whatever surprise she thought she was coming home to, I've got a bigger surprise waiting for her. As we pulled into the outskirts of the city where Jake would start his new life, he made a comment that stuck with me. You know what the real tragedy is? If she'd just been honest about wanting to see other people, we could have broken up like adults. Instead, she chose to lie about massage therapy for 3 months. She turned me into someone who had to play detective in his own relationship. I dropped Jake off at a hotel downtown, and as he grabbed his bags, he said something that perfectly captured the whole situation. She wanted the comfort and security of being with me, plus the excitement of being with someone else. What she got was losing both and having to explain to her parents why her boyfriend returned all her belongings while she was getting massage therapy on vacation. Sometimes people try so hard to have everything that they end up with nothing. Sarah thought she could maintain her relationship with Jake while exploring whatever was happening during those 3-hour gym sessions. Instead of an honest conversation about growing apart or wanting different things, she created an elaborate fiction about fitness and massage therapy. The irony is that Jake would probably have been willing to discuss an amicable separation if she'd approached it honestly. Instead, her deception forced him to make a much more dramatic exit, one that left her with no opportunity for closure or explanation. As I continued my route that day, I couldn't stop thinking about how many relationships end not because people stop caring about each other, but because someone chooses deception over difficult conversations. Jake's story is a reminder that sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone who's lying to you is to remove yourself from their life entirely. Don't give them opportunities to create more elaborate stories. Don't stick around hoping they'll eventually tell the truth. Just pack up, move on, and let them explain to everyone else why their massage therapy was so important that they lost the person who loved them. If you've ever found yourself in a situation where small lies started adding up to something bigger, or if you've had to make the choice between confronting deception and simply walking away, share your story in the comments. Sometimes the most powerful response to betrayal isn't anger, it's absence. And if you've got a story about discovering the truth in unexpected ways, send it my way. You'll find my contact information in the description below. The next story I'll be sharing might make Jake's situation look simple by comparison. Stay tuned, because sometimes the truth is stranger than any fiction you could imagine.